Hello dear Sakas. Welcome to another edition of Militia Network News.
Today's story comes to somewhat of a shock to us. It appears that the nurse who was a witness to all the wounds and injuries that occurred at the Batman Theater shooting has been assassinated.
Get this shit. Jenny Gallagher, the nurse who treated victims of the highly suspicious Batman shooting in Aurora, Colorado last month, is dead at the age of 46. The reported cause of death: drowning.
Now that doesn't get you madder than a Wonderland hatter. Get this, both the Batman Theater shooting and the Sikh temple shooting both have clear signs of a black government operation. Now everyone knows that the news media is controlled by the U.S. government. But what people don't know is that all the surviving eyewitnesses to both the Batman shooting and the Sikh temple shooting report multiple shooters that appear to have professional weapons training.
That's the backdrop, but back to the nurse hole.
Thoughts disrespectful, my friend. You don't call a dead woman a hoe, especially one murdered by the government.
What you mean, honky? Hose is hose. Simple as that.
You listen here, boy, before I choke you like a Friday night chicken. When you call a woman a hoe, you're implying that she's a whore. Someone who either sells their bodies for sex, or has such little self-respect that she can't keep her legs closed.
Okay, my honky friend. Fair enough.
On July 22nd, Barack Hussein Obama personally visited the hospital when the shooting victims were taken. Here is his photo. You will see Miss Gallagher and Obama together.
This picture with the long-legged Mac Daddy was taken just 2 weeks before her death. Despite recent conflicting and incorrect reports about the location, the end run has determined that she was actually found dead in Okoboji Lake, which is in Dixon County, Iowa, about 700 miles from her hometown of Denver by car. Within 24 hours or less of the discovery of her body, a short blurb about the death, which did not identify her by name, was published by the Associated Press and picked up by several local media outlets.
The media blurb was reported as follows, quote, drowning reported at West Okoboji Lake, Okoboji, Iowa. Authorities say someone is drowned at West Okoboji Lake in northwest Iowa. The Dickinson County Sheriff's Office said officers responded to a report of a drowning a little after noon on Tuesday. The office hasn't released the victim's name or any other details about the drowning.
On the morning of August 8th, the day after her body was reportedly discovered, the Dixon County Sheriff's Office issued a press release identifying Gallagher as the victim. They misspelled the lady's name and provided a few additional details. Quote, victim identified in West Okoboji drowning, published on Wednesday the 8th of August 2012, 6:30 p.m. On Tuesday, August 7th, the Dickinson County Sheriff's Office responded to a drowning on West Lake Okoboji. An investigation found that Jennifer Gallagher, age 46, from Denver, Colorado, had been swimming the previous night in West Lake. On Tuesday morning, Gallagher was reported missing by family. A short time later, a family member located Gallagher underneath a nearby dock. Medical personnel responded and she was pronounced dead at the scene. Assisting the DCSO were Milford Fire/Rescue, Arnold Park/Okoboji Dive Team, Lakes Regional Healthcare Ambulance. The incident remains under investigation by the Dickinson County Sheriff's Office.
Thoughts right, little buddy. The Associated Press then published another blurb based on this press release, which was reworked and republished by numerous local media outlets, primarily in Iowa, where she was found dead, and in Denver, Colorado, where she lived. However, none of the short stories published in the local press at the time appear to have mentioned her connection to the then highly topical Batman shooting, or virtually any biographical information about her. The death of this national heroine does not appear to have been picked up at all by the major U.S. national media.
Now get this, Akos. According to the initial press release by the Dixon County Sheriff's Office, Gallagher went swimming in West Lake Okoboji on the evening on Monday, August 6th, and didn't come back. The next morning she was reported missing by her family members. A short time later, a family member located Gallagher sick underneath a nearby dock. Medical personnel responded and she was pronounced dead at the scene. Ireland's Herald, the only news media outlet that even connected the dots between this nurse and her connection to the Batman shooting, apparently conducted an exclusive interview with Gallagher's husband, Greg Pinson, and they have now published an article based upon it.
Greg explained that the family had traveled to nearby Ohio for a holiday when Jenny tragically drowned. He and Jack had gone to sleep when Jenny and her friend decided to take a boat out onto a lake. Greg said, quote, "She wasn't a very strong swimmer and I suppose she just wasn't able to stay afloat. The hardest thing is I may never know what really happened to Jenny."
Now get this, you flaming homosexuals. We is gonna lay this out for you number by number, and you better remember.
1. Was she really not, quote, a very strong swimmer? Is her husband even correctly quoted on this matter by the Herald, who seemed to have misquoted him elsewhere? Jenny was 46 years old and a formidable athlete. She had been playing Gaelic football for over a decade, having competed in the North American Finals in 2000. Recently, she and her teammates on the Denver Girls ladies football team competed in a tournament at the Colorado Irish Festival, which they won, beating teams from San Francisco and Dallas. A tribute published in the club's newsletter says that, quote, "Memories of trips with the girls, such as surfing in Costa Rica, would not have been so fun had Jenny not been there."
2. Why in the hell did Jenny decide to take a boat out onto a lake at night, after her husband and son had already gone to bed, especially if she, quote, wasn't a very strong swimmer?
3. If she did decide to do that, wouldn't she at least wear a life vest? 4. Who was this friend that was allegedly with her? Why is this friend not identified by name? Why has this friend not been mentioned in previous reports?
5. If she did drown at night while boating with a friend, why were police and rescue crews not notified until the following day? The original sheriff's office press release said that she was reported missing by family the following morning. The initial Associated Press report put the time even later, a little afternoon, and the Spencer Daily Reporter wrote on August 9th that, quote, "Emergency crews received a 911 distress call at 12:45 p.m., end quote. If a friend was out on the lake boating with Jenny, and she disappeared in the water, wouldn't this friend immediately rush to notify her husband and any other family member that may have been present? And wouldn't they immediately alert rescue crews? Why did this apparently not happen?
6. If Jenny was out boating with a friend, disappeared in the water, and was later found drowned, why would her husband say, quote, "The hardest thing is I may never know what really happened to Jenny"?
7. Who is the family member that located Jenny's body under the dock? He or she apparently did so shortly after notifying authorities that she was missing, possibly even within minutes. The unnamed family member was apparently able to find her before professionally trained rescue crews. In fact, according to the Spencer Daily Reporter, this family member may have even located her before the crews could even begin searching. Arnold Park/Okoboji Fire Chief Christ Youngbluth said his department's dive team did not have to conduct a search. Rescue teams were on hand for nearly an hour, but once they arrived at the scene, Gallagher was pronounced dead. West Okoboji Lake is approximately 3,847 acres in surface area. The Daily Reporter said that she was specifically found, quote, "in the area near Wheeler's Beach just off of 1st Street in the city of West Okoboji," end quote.
Dickson County Sheriff's Office was contacted by telephone. The woman who answered the phone was familiar with the case, but refused to answer any questions about Jennifer Gallagher's death. This included a direct question as to whether or not Gallagher was boating with another individual that night as reported by the Herald. The woman referenced the August 8th press release posted to the sheriff's website, firmly stating that she could not provide any information besides what was contained in that report.
What is the conclusion to all of this, you say?
Go ahead, Pimp Daddy C. You can take this one.
Circumstantial evidence alludes to the very real possibility that Jenny Gallagher was murdered to make sure that her account of the injuries she witnessed at the hospital never got out to the public. Remember, circumstantial evidence is enough to convict a man of murder in a court of law. So this is no small statement.
According to accounts written by those who knew her, Jenny Gallagher was an amazing woman, a loving mother and wife, an excellent nurse, and a person whose personality and kindness brought joy into the lives of those around her. Regardless of the cause, her untimely death is a tragedy, and our condolences go out to her family and co-workers. Hopefully others who investigate her death feel the same, and hopefully her family can understand our desire to seek further information about what happened to her.
That's all the time we got for you today. Now normally, we would break off and go to the subscription page. But today, we will stand in memory of Jenny Gallagher and the hero that the American people have lost.
And if any of her friends and family are watching, we want you to know that we're here. Watching. Waiting. Ready.